Don't forget to subscribe and comment below. Let me know your thoughts on this topic, Brexit. Robert Peston was on Times Radio a couple of weeks ago talking about his new book, and the topic of Brexit came up, and this is what he had to say. Have a listen.
And, the notion, okay, that somehow we should just be this little island only using our own people, it's just self-harming.
Yeah. And following on from the chat about immigration, and you say you've written extensively about the Brexit vote in your previous book, WTF. Another idea which caught my eye in your book is another referendum on the EU on the 20th anniversary of the original Brexit vote. So that would happen in June 2036. Now, some of my listeners will be leaping with joy at this prospect. Other people will be like Brenda from Bristol. Oh no, not again. Why do you think this idea is a good idea?
Because I just don't think that it's going to be settled, forever. I just don't think it will. Actually, one of the areas of, shall we say, a debate between me and, I thought actually, I'd originally said that the vote should be a bit earlier than that. I'd originally suggested nearer 2030, 2031, and he said, "Oh, no, it's far too close. People are going to get really upset." So anyway, so we compromised, and so we said 20 years. The reason for 20 years, look, I completely get the argument that says this was a debate that absolutely tore the country apart, and we need a time of stability to properly assess whether we have made a success of leaving the European Union. And I'm not saying that it's impossible to make a success of leaving the European Union, but I am arguing we haven't done that yet. We are poorer as a result of leaving the European Union, and we do not have the same degree of influence in the world as an independent nation as we had as a member of the European Union. And the reason for that, just in case to remind just to remind listeners, why, even when it comes to the diplomatic issue, we have less weight. I spent my life talking to people in Washington. They basically say, when you're a member of the EU, you were way more important because you were the bridge between Britain and America, between America and the European Union, and you're no longer that bridge. So you just don't matter to us as much as you did. And given that America, along with China, is one of the only two superpowers, that was a significant loss of global voice. But let's be absolutely clear. It was a democratic process, and we have to give it time to work or not work. And in the end, I take the view that 20 years is a long enough period to see whether it works. Now, look, it's completely conceivable that when we get to 2036, it'll be so obvious to the British people that it's been an amazing success. We won't need to have another referendum. So I'm not saying we have to have one in 2036, but what I am saying is we should have the option of having, if it's still looking as though we are poorer as a nation, and I suppose less confident in who we are as a nation in 2036, then it's worth revisiting the question. That's all I'm saying.
That's all you're saying. I'm waiting for my switchboard to light up with lots of opinions.
I think it's really interesting that there is this focus on needing to set some sort of time limit for when there is another vote. And also, if you look back historically, when we went into the European Union, it was done in the proper way. It was done via Parliament, and that was decided in 1971, I think, by Parliament, and then in 1973 we went into Europe. And then because there were some people not happy with us going into Europe, we then had a referendum. So it was really a confirmatory referendum. So they basically, from 1973 to 1975, they had a vote to see if everyone was happy with the way it was going. And what Robert Peston is saying is that we need to wait 20 years. And it's already been 2 years since Brexit. All of the promises that were made in terms of the NHS and, you know, cheap food and clothing and all of this stuff has really not materialised, and the opposite of everything that was promised has materialised. So why do we have to wait and stew and get poorer and weaker and less relevant for 20 years? I mean, why do we have to set a time limit on this? Yes, okay, the country was divided because of Brexit, mainly because of the lies, and also Jeremy Corbyn didn't help in that he wasn't clear in leading the Labour Party and Labour voters with the right decision and the right way forward. And if we have a vote to rejoin, then we need to make sure there's proper parameters around giving the truth about what it means. But I think now that we're living through Brexit, we know that the extra money is not coming to the NHS, far from it, and that the trade deals are a disaster, that it's dreadful for our food and farming, that it's dreadful for our people who want to go and work and study and retire in Europe. All of these things are there for us already. So why we have to stew in Brexit for, you know, for another 18 years beggars belief. And I'd be really interested to know what you think about this, because I find mostly of the people that I speak to, and I do know people that voted Brexit, and I find most of them now sort of shrug their shoulders and say, well, it's a mess. I don't find many people saying, oh, I love Brexit because I can do this now. I mean, do you know anyone who says that? What liberty has anyone got, or what bonus is there from Brexit? There aren't any as far as I'm concerned, but if you know any, do let me know. And thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and look forward to seeing you.